share a little bit of the startup experience that we had on board the Jubilee. I would love to. So for myself and entertainment, we actually started in Miami, me and the Fun Squad, I think 13 of us, 2 of them didn't quite get their visas in time, so they met us on the ship. But me and 13 the hosts went down to Miami to the studios near Doral, and we actually learned a lot of the new activations, like any of the new choreography, dancing shows that we have to be involved in. We learned a brand new Seuss at Sea program that's getting ready to roll out. We did a lot of Lone Star. We built Lone Star from the ground up. Did you have a chance to go to Lone Star this cruise? It was a couple of different activations. It was meant to be like this big 4-hour event. We tried it once. The guests were not into it. So we broke it down into 45-minute events, and we're still finding our wheels on it. But basically, we created a hand-tailored made activity and activation that encompasses kind of everything that was both Carnival Cruise Lines and our southern guests that like football, they like to hang out with the kids, they do a little pee-wee pig racing. It's a lot of fun, but that's what we did beforehand. And then we flew over to Emshaven. We landed in Amsterdam, took a 3-hour bus ride all the way over to where the ship was in the shipyard. And let me tell you what, it was cold in the Netherlands. Really, really cold. And I'll never forget driving up and seeing the ship. She was huge. And then I would be like, wow, I can't wait to sail this. And then I walked into the ship and I was like, this is a construction site. Up until like the 11th hour, the ship was still very much being delivered all the way up until we got into Texas. There was scaffolding, they were doing the final touches. It was a completely different experience than my last startup, which I did, which was Horizon, whenever I was a host. Now as a cruise director, you have a lot more on your plate. Like you have to decide which things are going where, which lockers, how do you set those lockers up, where do you get the nuts and bolts to put the shelving in. It's, hello, good morning. Good morning, green light, red light. Green light. So yeah, it's a lot of loading, it's a lot of moving things. We literally would put all things up in locker 18, and the next day we had to move it all the way down because there was a leak, and we had to fix the leak because all those little things you don't think of once you're on a ship that's in full operation, you have to go through those growing pains, which again, additionally, as inaugural guests that are in the first couple weeks of this ship's like life cycle, you guys probably have experienced a couple of those things. I don't know, things are creaky or something's not working right, the TV's not working right. Those are things that happen in that inaugural season. You just have to work through that process. So it was really, really unique and a very, very exciting experience for me to be a part of it in the facet that I've been in now. So I would just say we had chances to get off in Emshaven, which was a super cute little town, getting to do all the sea trials with the ship, having to list the ship to a certain extent to make sure she actually could come back from it. That was terrifying. Hated that. But in reality, it worked because this week, whenever, if you guys remember back on Sea Day 1, Sea Day 1? It was Sea Day 2. Sea Day 2, and we had that man overboard call, which thank God was not a real man overboard. The captain had to throw all the thrusters off on that one side to make sure if there was a person that went up on that side, they don't get, I mean, lack of better terms, that's what would happen. So they turn it off, and the ship literally has to swing its backside, its whole aft has to go turn around away from where the person would have fallen off of to ensure, again, we're not going over them. And so when you do that, all the weight of that pressure, all the momentum of the ship coming around pushes up against the side of the hull, and the whole ship was like this. I was like, we for sure ain't coming back.
Yeah.
I was like, we all gonna be in the water in a minute. You better turn this ship around, Sally. And so like that's one of the scariest things is the listing, like the trials you have to do to ensure that the ship itself is capable and up and ready to go. And she passed in flying colors, as you guys know. She came right on back. I was talking to staff captain. I was like, how far can we list until it's too late? He was like, up to 50%. What we felt this week was 3%. I don't actually know if it was 3% or not. It felt like 3 to me. It was a lot. But no, like that list, it's the degree of the angle that it goes is insane for them to say that it can also come back from it. I don't know how. I don't want to find out.
Nope.
Not me. Not today, Satan. So yeah, it was a really, really interesting process. Super, super fun. And having a vested interest in like literally seeing the ship through from ground up, putting things where they're supposed to be, giving you that kind of sense of ownership of the ship is something that I will always be grateful for. Good question. Good. There's a hand all the way over there. Yes, Dad. Ron from Oklahoma. He don't want to speak on the microphone.
Who hires the entertainers, and what kind of screening process do they go through?
So in order to be hired by Carnival Entertainment, you actually typically will have like either an agent or you'll go through an agency. They do auditions all shoreside, and then shoreside is the one that actually selects who gets hired on. From that point in time, once they're actually hired, they kind of go into like the pool of dancers and singers and vocalists and band and everything like that. And then per casting for ship, the ship will say, right, this person was a really strong like R&B singer, or they were really good at like they can hit the high notes. They don't have their opposite with that for those, and so we pair those people together, and they literally for each ship they concoct this perfect equation of who can they be best fit for that ship, and it's all done shoreside. For example, so like this right now, we've got our singers and playlist cast here, and also our center stage performers. They may be together for this 6-month contract, but that's not to say that their next contract, they will be in that same group of people. It's constantly an evolution changing thing. So like if Katie, who was our playlist cast manager, was currently on the Mardi Gras with us last year, she's now here, she may not go back to an XL ship, she may go to the Panorama, and she'll have another 8 people to work with. It just depends on what their goals are as the cast at that point of where they want to go, is who they'll end up working with. So that's kind of the screening process and the hiring process specifically for the cast and members and stuff like that. For Fun Squad and myself, we did a higher view and acted silly, and they asked me, what would you do with a pet flamingo? And I was like, I don't know, ride it, put it on the Lido deck. I'm like Oscar, the ostrich. That's kind of like our screening process was much different. They're not like, do a 5, 6, 7, 8, show me how good you can wobble. They put you on the spot of like hospitality, what would you do in this event, how would you handle a difficult guest, you know, all those things, because no guests are difficult, they're just going through a difficult time. Right? I hope you have the day you deserve. It's my new favorite line. I love using that one. Sienna, our bingo host, she's from Florida, she said, I hope you have the day you deserve, to someone that was like getting really mad that their sale and sign card wouldn't work for purchasing bingo cards because they were broke. And she was like, I want to play. I have every opportunity to play. It is my right. And Sienna's like, well, you can take that with guest services. Yeah, I can't believe you. She said, I hope you have the day you deserve. Doesn't that feel good? It's nice to end with a little like, So if I say that to any of y'all, it means you done me wrong. Don't do me wrong. Anyways, good question, good question. All right, who's got another question? We'll come over here and then we'll come back over here on this side, right over here, yeah. Steve from Ohio, keep going, keep going, yo, who? What? So, like, how did I get to where I am, and what's it like now that I'm a cruiser as far as like competitiveness within the fleet? What do I do afterwards? Oh God, that's a big question. That's an existential question right there. Well, I started back in 2002 working for Carnival Cruise Lines as a loyal patron, just like the rest of y'all. We all work for the company in some facet or another. I was 2002 on the Carnival destination. My parents and me took a cruise with my older brother, not my little brother, and now I'm little about him. He's also 6'7". I mean, look at him now. He's huge. And so we started cruising back then, and we've been cruising for years and years and years. And I had no idea what I wanted to do with college. I knew I wanted to go to a big university because I wanted to get the big college experience, but I had no clue what I was going to do. So I went to the bar, and I was sat there with my best friend, and her cousin had just graduated and said he was going to work on cruise ships. And being that I'd cruised for years, I was like, I love that, but what's your degree? And he was like, RPTS, rather party than study. I was like, sold. He's like, no, it's really called Recreation Park and Tourism Sciences. And I was like, no, the first one will do just fine. I'm good either way. So I literally changed my major that very next day, and I was like, I'm going to be a cruise director for Carnival Cruise Lines. I got hired as an intern in 2016 when they first rolled out the inaugural program. I came on board the Carnival Freedom for 3 months, worked with Malcolm Woohoo Burns. Anyone remember Malcolm? Incredible. He's doing okay. He's not with the company anymore. But he was my very first cruise director. He was incredibly tough, but really made me love the job and the reasons why we do it. I went back, graduated, came back, and was the next year in 2017, I was on the ship. I was addicted to the lifestyle. I was on board 48 out of the 52 weeks that year. I had a bunch of little contracts, but I just kept getting off, and they were like, oh, we've got another one. You want to be back in 2 weeks? I was like, yup. And I just kept jumping from ship to ship to ship, which is kind of why I got my success so quickly, because they couldn't get rid of me. I was just always around. And I was chosen to be on the inaugural ship for the Horizon as Fun Squad, and from there, the opportunity voted me so well that I was picked up to be a covering cruise director in 2018 at the very young age of 22 years old. Youngest in the history. So yeah, so it's been on the up and up ever since then. A lot of trivia, a lot of bingos, a lot of sleepless nights, a lot of coffee has got me to here. This was the very first cruise of my family on the inaugural cruise right here out of Galveston, Texas. We still cruise. We all have a much bigger outfit now, but nevertheless, it's just as exciting as it was back when it was 2002 and I was 7 years old. So I'm glad that you guys have a chance to experience this. And the biggest reason why is that I know what those family memories feel like on board a ship, and how potent they can be and how long they can last, even if it's just, you know, getting on board and getting away for a little while. Those weeks that you guys come on board, you make memories that will last you forever, even if it's just one of that memory from that week. So the fact that I get to now do that for you guys is probably the biggest honor that I have as a cruise director. Oh my God, Miss America speech, get out of here. Right over here, yes, what's the question? Hi, Heidi from Euless. Oh, that's tough. Why are you trying to get me in trouble, Heidi? She said, you've been on many classes of ship. What's your favorite? Oh, well, I'll say my favorite ship. It's this one, duh. I mean, I love a lot of the different ships I've worked up on. My top 3 favorite ships are probably the Conquest, the Vista, and the Jubilee. The Jubilee because of the emotional connection I have to the ship, the pride I have invested in the ship. And it's just a really good ship. I got USB ports by my bed, excuse me, that was not cute. And it's incredible. The ship itself, the entertainment, the current section, it's my favorite ship as far as layout wise and offerings, and obviously the personal vested interest. Speaking of emotional ties, the Vista is also a very, very close ship to my heart. I've got any Vista cruisers with me in the room? A lot of people like have cruised with me or recognize me from the Vista. Whenever I had my stint there, I did a little stint right when the Azapod engine went out in 2019. Anybody was there for that? Oh Lord, it was a nightmare. But I was there in 2019 when it was in Texas, and then I was on it again just after the pandemic. And those 9 months that we spent together on the pandemic Vista restart was, I don't want to go back and do it again, but I wouldn't have changed it for the world. I made some really, really good connections there, both crew and guest-wise. I think Kathy and Perry, they're probably not in here, but Kathy and Perry are some of those guests that I will never, ever let leave. They're like my grandparents now, and I met a lot of them because they just kept cruising back to back to back to back to back to back because they were only $50 back then for the cruises. And just, I made such close connections with so many people. I think Jennifer's here. I met Jennifer during the Vista season. And so there's a lot of people that I made emotional connections with. And the ship, although it was an incredibly tough time that I never want to go back to, it really did make me a better leader, a better cruise director, and a better person probably, because I had a lot more patience. And yeah, I learned to control my eyes because my mouth can usually do this and my eyes can like this.
So I just wanted to say this has been a phenomenal week. So
excellent,
we're so
very good. Glad to hear.
We were curious where your future husband, what ship he's on right now.
He's on this ship.
Oh, did not know that.
He's here right now. I don't know. Are you in the room, Joe? Are you still sleeping? Oh, he's there. Hi. Hi, baby. That's my fiance over there. Stand up. You be proud of me. Stand. Yay! If you can't see him on that side, he's also right here. And he's right here. And he's right here. He's also a cruiser. He just got the Horizon yesterday. I literally picked him up like a kid from the candy store. I was like, that one, I want that one. Come here right now. God, as soon as I start talking about it, I immediately become a baby. You guys know when you talk to like your significant other and you have that baby voice or like very specific way you speak to them? We've got to work on that, Joe. We really got to be better at that. Because I'm like, so Joey worked on the Horizon for like, when did you sign on November? November, because we saw each other in October. So he was on the Horizon. In November, he was on the Firenze before that. He was on the Pride, the Magic, and the Panorama. He got promoted in 2022, just after he came off the pandemic. And I'm very proud of him because he won Rookie of the Year last year. #1 in the fleet. That's what I thought. And like I told you, he's a comedian. That's him doing his comedy show. He actually has his own comedy show that he does. He's very funny. Should you tell a joke? No. Don't be funnier than me. But yeah, so he's here now. He's here for this week and next week. Unfortunately, our vacations this next year, just because of the opportunities we haven't really had a chance to line up. But typically, they do a pretty good job of really lining us up, at least for our vacations. Even if our ships don't dock together in port, or if we're not in the same time zone, at least whenever we sign off, we go home either to Texas together or we go to England together to make sure we can spend some actual quality time together. This is the only time I'm going to see Joey until September. So don't worry, you guys will see me today. Next week, they ain't gonna see me at all. I'd be like, it's a big ship, you didn't see me because of that. But I was just like hanging out, me and Joe are gonna go like to the casino. I won money when I was on your ship, so you should go and gamble. Should we the Game of Thrones game? It's the Game of Thrones game where you guys, we get you guys while you go to the bathroom, we keep your sailing sign card and then we play on your money. I'm just kidding. Doesn't work. I don't know your pin. Some of y'all are silly, the 1111. Last time you do that. But yeah, that's just me and Joe. We don't know what we're gonna do. We don't know when we're getting married. We talked 25-ish times September, the 21st night of September. Cause do you remember? Yeah. But we have to have time to plan that, and so considering that that's not until September, we'll see if that actually gets a chance to happen.
Intriguing question. What do you get any credit as a cruise director for like towards loyalty programs, or do you have to earn that kind of on your own right when you're not working?
Like, do I get like free cruises and stuff?
No, I just meant like being like a gold member, diamond status, or platinum, or.
Wow, Andrew, spilling all the tea. Andrew, I have cruised since 2002. I actually am a platinum guest. That one always either hit or miss. They're like, what do you mean you cruise so much that you're actually a platinum guest? We don't get any like benefits as far as like automatic status whenever you cruise. Joey is a red card this cruise, right baby? Red card? You still a blue card. Oh, I can't believe I'm dating a blue card. We don't get any kind of like credits that bump us up in loyalty. We do have discounts on different ones, so like Joey gets to cruise with me for $7 a day. That's right, and he's paying for it. That's how you get the points going up in the ladder, right? And so family and friends can get a discount to sail. So if you guys want to be my family and friend, you get a nice discount. Some of y'all are like, I don't trust that. Yeah, you'd have to stay in my cabin, and you don't want to stay there anymore. Joey's currently sleeping on a pile of shoes. But yeah, no loyalty things like that. But we do get like some discounts, and I just get to keep my platinum status. I love saying people are wrong. He was coming at me all hot and heavy, Robert. We've got a Behind Fun tour that runs not once, not twice, not 3 or 4, not 5, but 6 times cruise. Because we've got over 6,000 guests. And it is 14 people, so it is 32 people a day. We do on all of our sea days now because we know, especially on the new ships, what you guys want to see, but they are 4 hours long. And you can't use the elevators because you go into crew areas where we don't have them. You get to take the stairs. From the engine room on deck 3 to the bridge on deck 16. This lady's. But anyways, so 6 tours, 16 people per tour. Tell me what your next question is, Robert.
She has a question.
We did increase it. Used to only ever done the last year. It used to be 2 tours.
Literally. Well, my question is, for the
You burying
tour,
the lead on this one.
for the tour,
Can
we get an in-person tour? Does it have to be online?
Okay, what?
Like for the back of the tour, like the medical emergency. The tours you mentioned.
Yeah, that's what we were just talking about. The tour that you can buy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's called the Behind the Fun tour, but it sells out pretty much on the first day. It's a more expensive one. It's a 4-hour tour that you do here on the ship, but only on the sea days.